All right, we're back. What's up, Wade?
What's up? Y'all have a good weekend?
Great weekend, bro. Great weekend. Jason, how you feeling? You have a good weekend?
Yo, had an amazing weekend, chilling with the fam, chilling with the wife. Of course, I had my Meton Wah on, you know what I'm saying? Smelling good, feeling good. I'm
Hey,
ready to do it.
hey, I feel you, man. That's some good shit right there. But
Yeah,
look,
man.
but I'm gonna tell you one thing that had my attention over the weekend. Cam Newton and fucking Gillie Da Kid, they've been going back and forth. I know it started with something about Jalen Hurts and I don't know, and then Gillie just kind of he's a big Eagles fan. He'll wear those big ass hats and everything. Like he was on the field during some of the playoff games. He was traveling with the team. What's going on, Jason? Why are they beefing like this? Like, it don't even seem, it seemed like it's not as friendly as it was when it started.
Yeah, I think dudes are taking this a little too seriously. I know Cam is sensitive because that's his career and that's his legacy. He's somebody who is a football player. He's now becoming a media figure, but at heart, he is an athlete. He's a football player. He's had success at every level. He's been an MVP in the NFL. He's been a number one draft pick. He's won a national championship. He's won a junior college national championship. I assume he won in high school, but everybody remembers that one play where he apparently didn't jump on a football. So people just seem to really needle him with that. And so I think that's a sore spot. And he is an analyst now, and he is free to analyze athletes. It's funny how we're okay with someone like Stephen A. Smith, who has never played sports. I think he played at Winston-Salem State and averaged 2 points a game. We're okay with him criticizing guys who played at a high level. But here we have Cam Newton, someone who's a Pro Bowler, someone who's an MVP. When he has his own opinion and criticizes guys at the position he played, everybody starts pointing back to that one play out of a career that was largely successful. And I think he gets really, really sensitive about that. And Gillie has been coming at him, and he went to Gillie where Gillie hurts. You know what I'm saying? His rap career, because Gillie is a street dude and a rapper. And then when you say, what about Philadelphia? I didn't even know that album exists. No disrespect to anybody. No disrespect to Gillie. I used to like Major Figures. I think that kind of hit him, and now it's starting to ratchet up and ratchet up. I hope that it doesn't get out of hand, that everybody stays positive. I love to see black men who are doing what they're doing, getting money. And I hope that it doesn't get too out of hand. But, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Let's not make these things personal. Let's not go after people personally. And that's what I think it started to get, started to ratchet up. I hope they can just kind of level it out. And Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback. There's no mistake in that. I agree with Gillie. He is a top 10 quarterback. You could argue he's the best quarterback because he led his team to a Super Bowl. So let's give Jalen his respect, but also let's give Cam his respect for what he did for the game and what he accomplished.
Right. And that's what I was thinking, man. I don't want this to go too far because it's starting to get, players like Cam Newton will feel disrespected about things like that. And he was a game changer for, everybody's watching Cam Newton. I mean, even if you weren't a Panthers fan, you probably had a jersey. But
Yo,
yeah,
yo,
I would
Bob,
hate this. Huh?
real quick, can you name any of, save for Steve Smith Sr., can you name any of Cam Newton's receivers?
I cannot.
Yeah, I think it was like Ted Ginn.
I had to
Like,
really, really think about it. But
yeah, and Greg Olson, if you want to count him as a receiver. But, he was doing it basically by himself on offense. They had a tough defense, but,
yeah.
yeah.
And his O line wasn't that great either.
Yeah, the defense was stout, with like Julius Peppers and Luke Kuechly. But offensively, it was him, Greg Olson, who was maybe a top 15, tight end in the league. But it was Cam just being Superman. And let's
Yeah.
give the man his flowers, give him his respect.
And I think that's why it hurts him, Wade, because for him
No
to
pun
say,
intended.
for them to talk about not winning the Super Bowl, like Cam put his blood, sweat, and tears on the field, and of course, there's great quarterbacks that didn't win championships. And you play sports way, like like that's your ultimate goal. So when somebody take a jab at that, I understand them being offended, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then like I know Gilly was personal with it, talking about his outfits. Everybody talk about Cam Newton outfits and his pants and all that stuff. So, I mean, I think Gilly just wanted Cam to give respect to Jalen Hurts because he has been to the Super Bowl and he won the Super Bowl, and Cam hasn't. So I think that's all Gilly was saying. But I do feel Cam too. Like everything you said, Jason, he deserves his respect. I feel like he got a little personal, but I did see Cam comment under Gilly's post and put love. So hopefully it's squashed.
Do either of you feel like one of them is right, more right than the other?
I feel like Jalen Hurts should be in the top 10 for sure.
I agree. I think Jalen Hurts is top 10, and I think we got to put some respect on Cam's name. I guess they're both right and both wrong,
But did they give a reason why he wasn't in his top 10? Because I think if you would have gave a reason, I don't know if he did or not. I didn't see that clip, but if he did, then maybe Gilly wouldn't have said. I don't know. Did he give a reason?
I mean, I saw that he gave some reasons, but I could argue, even though I believe that he is top 10. I mean, if you want to go off of guys like you said, game changers, like Cam is big on this game changer versus game manager thing. And you could argue that some of these quarterbacks who haven't won as much are more game changers than Jalen Hurts. Like you could take somebody like a Justin Herbert, you know what I'm saying? Or you could take somebody like a Joe Burrow or, these guys. Are you going to put them ahead of Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts, of course, has incredible receivers, you know what I'm saying? So when he throws the ball, incredible receivers, and has the best running back in the game. Whereas, other players don't necessarily have those kind of weapons. If we're talking about the Jordan Loves and the Justin Herberts, and I think Joe Burrow has weapons, so I can't say that about Joe Burrow, but, even you could argue Lamar Jackson, like, who are you going to take out of that top 10? The CJ Strouds. Like, there's a lot of very capable quarterbacks in the league, and Jalen Hurts just gets the job done. He's not somebody that goes out and puts up these crazy, gaudy numbers. He just runs the offense efficiently and gets the win. And that's really the point of the game. I think that makes you top 10. But I think some people like, the Dan Marinos, the guys with the, 350, 400-yard games all the time, and the 3 passing touchdowns and the 1 rushing touchdown and all of that. And Jalen Hurts can give you that, but consistently what he's going to give you is, 250 yards, you know what I'm saying? Maybe a touchdown on the ground, maybe a touchdown in the air, but he's going to give you the victory. And that's what, to me, is important.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather win, for
Facts.
sure.
Facts. I mean, like Justin Herbert to me is not elite because he hasn't won anything. You know what I'm saying? Like he hasn't even made it deep into the playoffs. Everybody just loves that he's big and strong and can throw the ball and throws the ball accurately. But quarterback, you're the leader of the team and on the field. And if you're not getting wins, what does it all mean? This is why the greatest quarterback of all time is Tom Brady, and it's not Dan Marino,
No, I get it. But since we're talking about quarterbacks, Josh Allen now has an investment stake in New Era. He's been hired as the director of Billustration, is what they called it. And he came out with his first hat. Wait, please tell me what you think about his new hat.
The new hat, I didn't know what that was. It looks like a pig. It looks like a pig, and it looks like a buffalo combined. It looked like a stick figure pig. I don't know if he did that or if
his niece did it.
I didn't want to say that, but I don't know if his niece or somebody who was 3 years old did that. But I think it looked bad. But I like the cause, but the hat looks horrible though.
Yeah, I mean, Have you seen it, Jason? It looks funny to me, but it's sold out. Why is it selling out if it looks like that, Jason?
I mean, I think it's because Josh Allen did it. You know what I'm saying? And if you know anything about Bills fans, they are super passionate because what else do you have in Buffalo? You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
know, you got Conway the Machine, you know, who I'm a fan of, and you got, you know, the Griselda dudes, but what do you have in Buffalo? And the Bills are a real big point of pride. So they're gonna support anything that comes out of, you know, Bills Nation. And they love Josh Allen. Another guy who I think, you know, is top 10. And you have to ask yourself, you go with wins or do you go with, you know, what you do with the eye test? Because the eye test, I think he's over Jalen Hurts. So it's, you know, that kind of thing. But I thought the hat was funny, you know what I'm saying? But then again, I'm not the best, you know, judge of art or fashion. Because
Mm-hmm.
I look at like Basquiat. If you guys know Basquiat,
Mm-hmm.
his art was kind of like that. Like it was just kind of
Yeah.
drawings. You know what I'm saying? Very crude drawings, and people loved it, and it's worth millions and millions of dollars now. So I'm not a good judge, but I agree. It did look like a little kid did it to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a hat I would buy, and it's not just because I'm not a Bills fan. It's just that I wouldn't buy a hat like that. I mean, I get it. I feel like it's going to be like one of a kind for sure. I don't think any other NFL team can do this and it sell out, unless it's a joke.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's married. Josh Allen's married or not. But if he had a wife, she should have been like, "Yo, this don't look good. It's not a good look for you. Like he need a ride or die, like Keisha Kayor, like Gucci got. Because what she said is Gucci don't have to do nothing but shower, and she takes care of pretty much everything else. How you feel about that, Wade? Is that like a good backbone for you if all you got to do is shower and make the money?
Uh, I don't know how to answer this question. I mean, I think that's it's good to have a woman that can help you do things. But just having to shower and not having to worry about anything else. I mean, I don't know if I would want to have that. I'm independent, so I like to do things on my own as well. But it's always good to have some help, to make life a little bit easier for you. So I get what she meant by that. So he don't have to worry about bills. He can focus on his rap career 100% and all his other endeavors. He don't have to worry about doing all the little small stuff. So I mean, I think he got a ride or die. She held him down when he was locked up, and she holding him down while he's out.
Yeah, I mean, and she also said she don't think any other woman could have been with Gucci. I mean, is there a lot of women out there that have the same mindset as her, Jason, or from what you have seen in the past?
um, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I've only been married to one person, and the person I'm married to definitely holds me down, but also holds me accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't just go to work. I also gotta, think about the kids, and I gotta think about the house, and I gotta do the yard work, and I gotta do a lot of things. And like Wade said, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with having responsibilities. That I think is part of what makes you a man. Like my kids just got to go to school. You know what I'm saying? That's their job. But I'm not a child, so I'm okay with having a little bit of responsibility. And I also like being able to take care of my woman. So I think the mentality of she wants to take care of her man should have the same mentality of I want to take care of my woman. You know what I'm saying? So if they both have that mentality, then they'll both be taken care of. And um, I think Josh Allen's girlfriend or fiance is Haley Steinley, the woman from Sinners. The I don't know if she like mostly white, kind of black.
Yeah.
Joint. I think that's his lady. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I read that somewhere.
Well, good for him. Um, I feel like marriage is something sacred, and it's a partnership. So you should always have your partner's back. And that's just the way I viewed it. But I'm on the outside looking in, and I don't believe what Paul Pierce said about having side pieces because they can save your marriage. Like I get the concept of it, but if you need a side piece, then you must not be all the way happy at home. And I know that you can't be happy 24/7, but you know, do you think a side piece can save the marriage, Jason?
I'm gonna be very careful because this is being recorded. But no. I would say if you absolutely need a side piece, then there's something dysfunctional within your marriage that y'all need to talk about and work out. You know what I mean? If you're not being fulfilled, then honestly, it's usually not the partner. I will say this. I think we have a lot of responsibility within ourselves. And we say, why am I not happy? And then you look at the person closest to you without looking within yourself. So I think a side piece can't save your marriage. I think you can save your marriage by working on yourself. And the same thing for your partner. And then you can be a better partner and be satisfied and all of that. So I don't agree with that. I don't agree that you need to necessarily have somebody on the side. But I will also say a side piece, if all three people agree to it, you know what I'm saying? If it's consent on everybody's part, like, you're in an open relationship, I'm not going to judge the structure of other people's relationships. You know what I'm saying? If it's not a secret relationship, if you're like talking to your partner and you're like, yo, I need to spend this amount of time with this other person, then, that's what works for your relationship. And I'm not going to judge that either.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, sometimes it's hard to find everything you need in one person. And, there's times where you're going to bump head and you need some space. And I think even one of the things he said is that the person, wasn't having sex with his wife at one point for a couple months. And so this other side piece was there. And, he still went back to the relationship and they worked things out. It's just necessary, Wade.
No, I think they should just go to therapy.
Right.
I don't believe.
Why weren't they having sex? That's the problem. Like, what was the issue? You know what I'm saying? Work on the issue instead of just being like, let me put a Band-Aid on this by getting sex somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Like, why aren't y'all having sex? Work that out. Talk to your wife. Why aren't we having sex?
Yeah.
It's in the Bible that, husband and wife, or that the wife should be giving the husband sex. But I'm not going to quote any Bible scriptures or anything.
That's Clapalations 4 verse 15.
It might be part of the commandments. But I feel like that's also stems into like men knowing who they want to love and them not knowing how to show it. And that's something that we talked about, Wade. Like, we know who we want to love. We know the ideal woman that we want in our corner and who we want to cherish. But do you think men struggle with how to show the love that they have?
I think so. I think it goes on to like what you see at home. What your example is at home. If you see your parents loving each other, things like that, then you kind of learn it at a young age. But if you don't see it, you don't really know how to love the correct way. So I think that plays a major factor in knowing how to love. Seeing how your father loves his mom, seeing how your brothers love their girlfriends or your uncles love their wives, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's a major role.
Yeah.
Yo, can I add something to that? Let me just say, Wade, you hit the nail on the head. I think when you're in a relationship, you have to show your kids that affection. You know what I'm saying? Because that sets a standard for what your daughters will expect in a relationship, and it sets a standard for how your son will treat a woman or whoever, man, whatever they end up dating. I can tell you, like, I make sure my kids see me, hug my wife, kiss my wife. I think that's really, really important. Because, and I also want my wife to initiate it with me, because I can tell you one thing that I struggle with, because, I grew up in kind of a hectic household. My parents both loved me and loved each other, but it was a hectic household. And I'll just say one of the things, and I'm going to be vulnerable for a quick second, is I didn't know how to receive love. Like, I thirsted for love, but then I think a lot of men because we're taught to be tough and be strong and all of that. Like when a woman would get close and be like, "Yo, I care for you," I would get freaked out because I'm not accustomed to that. I wasn't in a household where I saw people hugging and kissing, and as a kid, it was more about here's what you're supposed to do to be successful, but not about like, hey, let me give you a hug, let me give you a kiss, let me, my mom wasn't really that type of, person, and my dad is not. He is now. I make him hug me now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, you gonna hug me, Negro. You know what I'm saying? But like, I think that affection that you give each other, it's important even for boys because we learn how to accept love. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize. It's not just learning how to give love; it's learning how to accept it too.
Good point.
Yeah, you're right. And thanks for giving us that vulnerability because that's something that black men don't tend to do around each other. So I just feel like, if there was more open dialogue with, people our age and young black men, then it might be a little bit easier for them to show love. Because we just, like you said, like I know that it was always don't cry, you know what I mean? And you don't show too many feelings because then you soft, you know what I mean? So you could only like express a certain amount before you seem like you're this soft guy. Um, so yeah, this is something that has to be
Facts.
an open dialogue amongst all men, period. And I did get all of that. Yeah, nah, I'm just playing. I would never wear a wire like Stephen A. Smith. I don't know if he's really wearing a wire, but I would never do something like that. So they're saying that people that work with Stephen A. Smith are going down. Wade, I mean, he can't be wearing a wire. I mean, he's mic'd up on the show, but this is a joke, right?
I mean, maybe he forgot to take his wire off when he leave his set, his mic off when he leave his set, and then he just having personal conversations with people. It's funny. They have some meme of him. I don't know if y'all saw the meme on Instagram where they said, "Why does Stephen A. always dress like an FBI agent?" So he got like baggy clothes on. He looked like he had to carry out. Then he got another picture where he looked like he's undercover. You know what I mean? So, but I get it, man. It's funny, man. It's funny. A lot of people have moved on from the show. And then I guess they trying to say that he's snitching on people with his wire, man. But I doubt that. I do think Skip sent that girl though to Shannon.
Hey, I wouldn't put it past him, man.
He's been quiet. We haven't heard nothing. We haven't heard what he had to say about it. We haven't heard what Skip had to say about any of the Shannon Sharp stuff.
I mean, do we need to hear it though? Is it his
Yeah.
business? Do we care?
I think he would say something, to try to make it seem like he wasn't the problem on the show, that Shannon was the problem. You would think that he would try to say something, but
Well,
I'm glad he haven't. But I'm just
yeah.
I mean, Skip has his own problems. You know what I'm saying? Like he don't need to talk about Shannon Sharp or anything. But apparently, I don't know if y'all heard this, but apparently the same woman that's suing Skip said that Shannon Sharp choked her one time, and that she got Fox actually paid her out for that incident. You know what I'm saying? But this new incident that involved everybody else and the executives and all that just went crazy. But this woman been getting paid from that, from that environment. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Speaking of getting paid, there was something released. They say Trump released it, but I don't want to speak on stuff I don't know for sure. But after Martin Luther King's death, there was he had a plan as for a nationwide boycott, and it was to achieve reparations. And then over 10 years, I think it was supposed to be something like 20 billion. Jason, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's correct. I mean, honestly, we didn't need the FBI files to actually know that. Dr. King spoke about reparations lots of times. He talked about we coming to get our check. So there's no question that Dr. King was a supporter of reparations to make America whole. That's not something that's new and fancy. We're just learning some of the details in terms of his plan, but I think he's been pretty clear about that. And as far as Trump, he's going to release all the files except for Epstein. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to tell you nothing about Epstein and about the fact that he transferred Ghislaine Maxwell, who is a RAPIST, who's an RAPIST and a SEX trafficker, and he put her in a cushy jail, with no bars, a minimum security jail. And by the way, that's against the law. You can't even do that. You can't even put somebody who's a SEX offender in a minimum security jail. So I think that there are conversations to be had there, but yet they're going to give you the MLK files and tell you things that you already know.
Yeah, it's one of those things that are trying to make us turn our heads, like look this way and don't look at what we're doing. So that's what it feels like. But it's still something to talk about, Wade, because that sounds like a good payout if we get the $20 billion for over 10 years. That's a lot of money, Wade. I mean, do you think this plan would have worked for us to boycott and get that money?
I think it would have worked. I agree with everything Jason said. So it's really nothing more I can say. I think it was 50 billion at 5 million a year. I think it was something like that. Was it 50 billion or 20 billion? I want to say it was 50 billion over 10 years.
I thought it was 20.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that would be great. That'd be great. Great payout. But yeah, I have nothing else to say about it. I mean, Jason covered everything.
Yeah. Well, I'm not wearing a wire, so we can talk about GloRilla. She just got arrested. Well, she's out now. She's out on bail. But so apparently somebody broke into her home, and as the police did a light search, she just clearly had a bunch of weed all over the place. That's messed up. I mean, wait, it's kind of messed up that she's getting arrested, after she was a victim.
Yeah, that's messed up, man. Like, I get it though. They probably didn't want to really do the hard work of trying to figure out who broke into her. So they're gonna go what's easy. I smell weed, and then they have probable cause to do what they have to do. So I understand that. I feel her frustration too, because she wasn't even there, and who knows if it really was hers. We in the no snitching era, like you said. You don't have a wire on right now, so maybe it was one of her friends. So she had to take it because she's GloRilla. But hey, man, I mean, she'll beat that though.
Yeah, she should. I mean, weed is legal in most states. I don't know what it is with the laws like in Georgia, but it's legal in most places, Jason. So why is this like such a big deal?
Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal. And I'll just say, to add on to what Wade said, I don't think that these people who robbed her were black, because the black dudes would have stole the weed too. I'm joking. But this is not a big deal. I mean, she should have kind of put some of that marijuana away, because even when they're doing an investigation, even if they have a warrant, if they can't see something, then, or, there's not some real big sign of something, then it's not illegal. You know what I mean? They can't go searching all over your house for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And find it. But if you have it out in the open, then they certainly can hold you accountable for it. But I think it's kind of lame. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was a victim of a crime. She did the right thing. She called the police. And there are certain states, particularly, no disrespect to Wade, but those states in the South that, still make marijuana illegal when the rest of the world or the rest of the country has recognized that everybody thinks it should be legal. So they're going to give her a hard time. And she's a black woman and a celebrity. So they're going to give her a hard time. She'll have to pay a little fine. But it is an inconvenience. It does make headlines, and it is embarrassing. And so, I'm with GloRilla on this one. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and GloRilla's looking good too, by the way. Looking really good.
Mm-hmm. I think she needs Wade Dunston as a trainer, though, honestly. I agree. We can get the, the 6-pack going for real.
Her body looking good, though. She definitely in the gym on something.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
You should get on that ab challenge, Wade.
For sure, she should. She can join the doing the glute challenge next and the arm challenge. She need to jump on. If you're listening, GloRilla, hop on with us.
Yeah. Hey, not just GloRilla, Cardi B, all of them. Let's get them.
Right. and then let's join the show and talk about it.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Yeah, get them to tap in. But
Let's go.
this is what I'm thinking now is like another thing that I saw over the weekend, and it might be somewhat old news, but Jada Pinkett was talking recently, and about the whole slap thing. But one of the things she said that kind of bothered me is, she was surprised that Will called her his wife, and to me, it's like even if that was going through your head, don't say that in public. You know what I mean? Like we know that you all had problems because you all made that public too. You know what I mean? And it's like I feel like she keeps like disrespecting Will in my eyes. And I don't like the way she talks about him. I mean, is this like this isn't typical husband and wife behavior, Jason? Like I feel like she never has his back. Do you feel like that?
I definitely think it's not typical behavior, but they're not a typical couple in any way, so it doesn't surprise me. I think she does do some things that I would not be comfortable with, but I'm not going to get offended for Will. If Will is not offended by it, then that's on him. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Will seems to tolerate it. He's like in it for the long haul. And if I read his book, which is actually a really good book. I would suggest it to a lot of people, and you'll start to understand the slap and why it happened.
Mm-hmm.
You'll start to understand, why their relationship is the way it is, and why, he never gives up on it, and why he keeps going forward with it.
Oh well, we're
Um,
curious. What did he say?
so, in terms of the slap, I think it's because he said that he always feels guilty because his father used to put his hands on his mom, and he was too scared to intervene. So deep in his mind, he's like, if I can't defend a woman that I care about, I'm a coward. I'm weak.
Mm.
And he becomes that little kid. So you remember during the slap situation, at the time, he initially was laughing with Chris Rock. It was all good. And then he saw his wife and her roll her eyes and be upset. And he was like, yo, I got to step up. You know what I'm saying? I got to do something. And that's when he acted in the way that he did, because it was like it was go time for him, because he, in his mind, he got brought back to being 5 and 6 and 7 years old and seeing his pops beat up his moms and him being scared and hiding and not helping the woman he cared about most in the world. And so this is why I think it's so important. If you are a man, particularly a black man, and you have some unresolved trauma, man, go and do your best to work that out. Go get a therapist, do whatever. Don't be afraid of that, because again, it's going to come out and it's going to affect you in other ways. And, it's affected Will Smith's career. He was a guy who was completely squeaky clean. And now, of course, all his business is out in the air now. Now August Alsina talking crazy and all kinds of stuff. And I think, Jada definitely has her problems. You know what I'm saying? She's definitely a codependent person. She said that the reason she was sleeping with August Alsina was because she wanted to heal him. And I'm like,
What?
he had problems, and she was like, I'm going to heal him and let him have the cheeks at the same time. And it's
Yeah.
like, yo, you're into codependency. You got some stuff to work out in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And so two damaged people, when they come together, they're going to have a damaged relationship. So I don't blame one person more than the other. I know a lot of brothers blame Jada more than Will. I think it's both of them. They both need to work out their stuff.
Yeah, I agree. It might be a trauma bond there. But yeah, I can definitely blame both of them. Because Will was staying in this relationship. So I mean, I don't know what his, mental situation is, and like what you just said was new news to me. So that actually makes a little bit of sense. But wait, do you think, first of all, let's start with this, like, should he have slapped Chris Rock? And it did save their relationship, is what Jada said. So was the slap worth it?
Not slap him at that event, but he probably could have did something outside. Not there. one of the biggest shows in the world. No. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's a tough situation. I feel like we don't really know what's going on in that household because one minute you hear they're open relationship, they're swingers, they're together. Like we don't know what to believe. We're not there, so we really don't know what's going on. But I was surprised to hear like what you said that he haven't called her his. He hasn't called her said the word wife in what 5 to 10 years. So, like you said, Jason, that was his opportunity to show that no, this is my wife. Like, let me act like I'm a man, and let me show her that I'm a tough guy. Like kind of like how we talked about in the last topic. So it's I don't know. I feel like we just don't really know what's going on, and I don't know if we can say she don't have his back or not because we don't know. She just makes some comments sometimes, and it makes you think like, do she? But then it's at the
Yeah.
same time, it's I don't know. It's confusing to me.
It's very confusing, and that's why I said, like, why even tell us that? Why tell the public that y'all haven't called each other that? Yet you sitting there, y'all show up to places together. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Y'all fucking, you got him crying on TV about you, but you got the nerve to say we haven't called each other husband and wife, but y'all still showing up to places together. He's still defending you. Like, I don't like the whole situation, but I will mind my business to some extent.
I didn't like. I'll just say real quick. I don't think the slap was necessary. I
Mhm.
think for two black men, I'm all about black unity. Or, you know what I'm saying? So two black men on the biggest stage in Hollywood to be going at it. And I wonder, would he have slapped, Ben Stiller? Something tells me he wouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't
Why don't you
know.
think he would have slapped Ben Stiller?
I just think that black men think it's acceptable to check other black men in that way. I don't think he would have checked a white dude that way. And that white dude and a black man wouldn't. I mean, a white dude wouldn't have held it down like Chris Rock did. Chris Rock didn't. They were like, "Yo, you want us? We'll take him out in cuffs." And he was like, "Nah, don't do that." You know what I'm saying? Ben Stiller would have been like, "Yo, get that N word." You know what I'm saying? Like, they would have taken him out in cuffs. So to me, it's like, and I can't stand how a lot of people criticized, Chris Rock after it, like he did something wrong, and they're like, and I'm gonna just say one last thing, and that is like, we've done such a poor job as black men protecting black women that a lot of black women don't know what protection is. So they're like, he protected a black woman. She was in no danger. You know what I'm saying? That was
Nah.
honestly, that was more about his internal pain and ego than it was even about her. It wasn't really even about her. He was seeing his mom in his mind. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't really, the kind of protection that people think. So if we were doing a better job protecting black women, and teaching our daughters what protection really is, then you know black women wouldn't have had confused what protection is.
Yeah, and that's going back to what we talked about earlier. Black men not knowing how to show love. You know what I mean? Because we're not taught that. We're not given that guidance, and I think that a part of certain black men's mentality is the way I protect my woman is with violence. You know what I mean? Like if he bump up against my girl, then I check him, and then saying if it get violent, and they feel like that's protecting the woman. So
Yeah.
it's something more that we got to talk about. I mean, you had something to say, Wade?
Yeah, I thought it was scripted. I didn't think it was real. I was watching it live. So when he went up there, even a slap looked a little fake to me. And they said that a scenario like that happened at a award show a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all saw the award show or heard about that. So I thought it was scripted, honestly. And it took. I still feel like it's a little scripted though. I don't know if that really happened anyway. I mean, they could have planned that whole thing out. We sitting here talking about it. That's why I try not to get involved with stuff like that because we really don't know. It looked fake to me. I don't know. The slap looked fake. Then he sat back down, and then they had his mic. How was he mic'd up and everything? Because you can hear him clear.
Yeah. I don't know if he was mic'd up or not, but it was pretty clear. It sounded like they boosted a mic somewhere that was near him. That's just like my interpretation of it. But yeah, you're right. It did look scripted to me. I missed the awards. I haven't watched the Oscars in a while. But I woke up to the news and it was all over social media and everything. And it's definitely going to be one of the biggest, memorable moments in media history. So maybe that was a scripted goal for things to happen. But I also think that the reason I think it wasn't scripted is because it hindered Will Smith's career, and it might be still hindering it because if you all remember, I know you do. It's like he was one of the top actors in Hollywood, and he was making big movies and big roles, getting paid crazy money.
Oh
And I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like this might, cut his salary back a little bit. I'm all for the whole suspicion of like events happening so black men's salary can get cut. Like that's just my suspicion going on in this world today. But hey, that's just
But
my
we have
take.
three of them in any movies in a long time. Like they like OG actors. So I feel like I don't know. I feel like if it was scripted, that was to bring some attention back on them for something. I don't know because I mean Will Smith I haven't seen none of them $30 million movies in a long time.
Yeah,
But he
because
was
who's
getting
going to
30.
hire him now that that happened? You know what I mean? Like, just casting directors and stuff like that. Like, we know that um a majority of the population is going to be like, how y'all going to hire Will Smith and he just did something crazy, like he's mentally unstable or he's not in his right mind? How can he do a movie and he doesn't deserve to get paid because he slapped a man on stage? Like, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it was.
yeah. I think in terms of this, I definitely don't think it was scripted. I think it was, it was definitely something that Will, did on a whim. But I would also recommend people watch the movie Emancipation. I thought it was great that Will did um, after the whole slap incident. I think Will is also just kind of working out his stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, he doesn't need the money right now. It's not like he's starving.
Mm-hmm.
Um, his image took a little bit of a hit, but if he gets a good script, he can bounce right back into that.
And I don't disagree, but my point is like you said, Emancipation. What is that? I
Yeah,
didn't see that movie.
Emanci-
I don't know. I didn't see it. I didn't hear about it. Did you hear about it? Wait,
No, was that on
see,
Netflix or was
that's
that
what
in
I'm saying.
theater?
And that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
It's not
it was
like
on Apple. It was on
it's
Apple TV.
it's not like
Okay.
when you know what I mean. Independence Day, Hancock, and I know those are older movies, but usually Will Smith movies you know about when they come out, and so it definitely took some damage to his reputation because I didn't even hear about this movie you're talking about.
I mean, but what's like? Can y'all tell me three movies in the theater right now?
Yeah.
Okay, what are they?
Superman. Um, what's that one movie? It's a scary movie, it's a horror movie. Um,
Tom Cruise movie. I don't know.
Mission
What's the name of it?
Impossible 3.
Is
I
that
mean, no,
out? Is that
7.
out yet?
Yeah,
I
Mission
know
Been
it's.
out.
Impossible. Yeah,
I know it's coming out. I didn't know it was out yet, but yeah. I'm
yeah.
just saying, like, there are so many places to get movies now that it's not like it used to be when Hancock came out, when it was like, okay, these are the big movies being released right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are
Hmm.
movies coming out on Netflix. There are movies coming out on Amazon Prime. There are movies coming out on Apple TV. There's movies coming out on Hulu. There's movies coming out in the theater. Like, so in
Right.
terms of like the big promotion for a movie, I'm not sure. Like, a lot of times, like I just saw the new Happy Gilmore movie. It was like I just turned on my Netflix and it popped up. I didn't know it was coming out. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and that's my point though, because you know if it goes straight to the stream, yeah, it doesn't get as much recognition, and most people that do straight to streaming movies are because they know they probably won't do well in the movie theater. Will Smith has always done great in the movie theater. That's why I'm saying there's like some diminish to this thing, because if you're doing a movie that's going straight to one of the platforms like Netflix or Amazon Prime or something like that, then you know what I mean, you're not this big blockbuster star anymore to me. I mean, not that he can't still do it. I know he can, but he had to do something that was like a little less recognizable. And even with Happy Gilmore 2, I watched it last night as well. It was good. But as soon as I turned on my TV, I saw it all over streaming services. I didn't see Emancipation all over my streaming services.
Yeah, I mean, Emancipation was on Apple TV, which I think is like not quite Netflix yet. You know what I'm saying? Like people don't. It's not like when you turn on your streaming that you go to Apple TV first. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll probably go to like 5 other before I get to Apple TV. But Emancipation got a little bit of a push. I thought it was a really good film. I think it had Michael Fassbender, if I'm not mistaken, or somebody in there who's a method actor. Will Smith actually did an interview about it. It was really interesting. He said, because the guy played like a slave catcher, and he was so in character that he didn't speak to Will Smith the entire time until they wrapped the film. Like he literally, like Will came up to him while they were shooting, and the dude just like looked at him and walked into his trailer. Like he would not talk to him. Like he was like, no, in my mind, I'm a slave catcher. You're a slave. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And according to you, he wouldn't dare slap that white man.
I just think we look at things and value certain people differently. I really do believe that.
I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not saying I do it, but I see that some of our brains are trained for things like that. Mm-hmm. But thanks, guys. I appreciate you being here as always.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You already know. And hey, one thing, everybody out there, please like and subscribe. Please hit that bell notifications for when we drop new episodes. We will be coming to you very frequently, you know, me and my brothers. And don't forget to go to maisondedarius.com, get you some of these. And we'll be doing some promotional stuff in the future. Just keep supporting, like, and subscribe. Much love.